So today, I am back finally from my long-ass work trip, and I have an observation. I find it interesting that I was using multiple washing machines and even washing my clothes in the little creek by our dig site, and I didn't have a single problem. I didn't lose a single sock on this trip. And yet, back home, using one machine, I lose socks all the time. I don't understand sock math.
Sock math is like quantum physics.
Actually, quantum mechanics forbids this.
Actually, we're in the multiverse where it does.
I'm going to shrink down and go up Thanos' butt.
But what does this have to do with socks?
We get there when we get there!
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Yes, news, maybe.
Welcome back to the DimecomicBros podcast.
Colin has nailed it consistently.
It's been a few weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
You really have to be practicing in the mirror. Does Abby give you feedback?
Yeah, I
Give you a nice little pat?
Yeah, I practice in front of her all the time, and whenever I get it right, she gives me a little treat, a little gummy bear every now and then.
Aww.
What kind of gummy bear?
The good kind.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
So, the Star Wars Bad Batch got a new poster. Did anybody look at it?
I didn't see it, actually.
It is linked in our email. Pull it up.
I think it looks pretty
Okay.
cool.
It looks like classic Star Wars posters.
It kind of it looks like the big main poster for the movies.
Right.
The one thing on there that's making me a little nervous is the marketing layer's been emphasizing the kid.
I really like it's got the Emperor on the top,
Yes.
and it's got the old school screen effect, like a what's the word I'm looking for? Freaking hologram effect.
It looks really good. The composition's really nice. It's not too busy. The thing that's kind of making me not nervous, but I don't understand why there's a child lead in this show. The trailer's been showing that off a lot lately. And I know it's probably it's still going to be marketed at kids and such. But like this show, compared to all the other ones, for the animated series anyway, seems to be aiming for at least a slightly darker time period with more adult theme, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why the f*** do we have like a 10-year-old? That just gives me weird vibes that I don't think is going to go well.
Well, you had the little girl in Logan, like...
But I mean, that was like main plot.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be super dark and gritty and whatever,
No,
but I think it's going to be like junior high, borderline high school age kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be roughly later end of Clone Wars, which is fine. It's just like this show is going like post Order 66 with essentially like a bunch of handicapped clones, like a bunch of really screwed up people. A bunch of really screwed up people with a lot of problems they have to overcome going through some really dark periods of time. And they're just like vibing with like a 10-year-old.
Why not?
I mean, I guess. That's most likely me just being really cynical. I'm sure the kid will be fine. I'm going to have no problems with it, but I get a little...
Spencer wants to complain about something.
I get a little turned off whenever I see something that's like, and we need to put in something for the kids.
I would hope that you'd get turned off when
He
the kids
gets
are
turned
part
off
of it.
about kids.
So, from Variety.com, Helen Mirren joins the Shazam sequel as the main villain. She's played a queen, and now she'll be a god. Helen Mirren has joined New Line's DC Comics adaptation Shazam! Fury of the Gods as Hespera, the villainous daughter of the god Atlas. Mirren's role is somewhat mysterious as Hespera does not have a clear equivalent from the comic source material, but she undoubtedly has some feelings about Shazam's powers, which include the stamina of her father Atlas, as well as the strength of Hercules, the power of Zeus, wisdom of Solomon, and courage of Achilles, and the speed of Mercury. So we have old lady bad guy. I'm down.
Okay. I think you mean old lady bad girl.
Yeah. I'm interested that they're going with like a newish or essentially new character. Sounds like it might kind of tie into the Fury of the Gods, which is such a pretentious title. It's great. Like I don't know, maybe she's pissed that her daddy's lifeblood got sucked out and spent on like kid magic or whatever the fuck. I don't
typical daddy problems.
Yeah.
Daddy issues, go burr.
And then kind of the sequel article to this, also from Variety, Lucy Liu from Elementary and Why Women Kill has joined the DC Comics adaptation. I can't talk today. Shazam! Fury of the Gods as the villain Calypso, the sister of Helen Mirren's villainous character Hespera. Yet she also does not have a clear counterpart. So cool. Big age gap. Don't care.
I don't think it's that big. Lucy Liu's way older than you think.
She's in her 50s. Helen Mirren's 80.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. That's like her mom. Also,
Maybe that's intentional.
But she's her sister, though.
So,
Maybe it-
gods.
Exactly. God sex is weird.
Okay, well, it's probably one
Rule
of
of
those...
cool, moving on.
I mean, it's probably one of those things where it's like Zeus in the DCEU is...
A whore.
I mean, it's Zeus. He's a whore.
Mhm.
But he's like mid-30s, like the actor that portrays him. He's not an actor. He's a freaking bodybuilder. Absolute meat stack. And then his counterpart, who is playing his son, is an older actor on a younger man's body. It's funny. So it's probably just some nobody cares about age type shit.
We don't.
I like how this worked out because Colin's gonna freak out about this news article.
From comicbook.com, ahead of Moon Knight's Marvel Cinematic Universe debut, Marvel Comics is launching a new Moon Knight series in July. The publisher announced on Wednesday that Jed Mackey, Black Cat, will write the new ongoing series collaborating with artist Alessandro Capuccio. Alessandro Kombucha, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The new story begins in Moon Knight #1, spinning out of the Age of Khonshu storyline that ran in Jason Aaron's ongoing Avengers series. Summary: the mysterious Mr. Knight has opened his midnight mission, his people petitioning for protection from the weird and horrible. That protection is offered, but whoa, these sentence hurt calm brain. Restart. The mysterious Moon Knight has opened his midnight mission, his people petitioning for protection from the weird and horrible. That protection is offered by Moon Knight, who stalks the rooftops and alleys marked with his crescent moon tag, bringing violence to any who would harm his people. Mark Spector, in whichever guise he dons, is back on the streets, a renegade priest of an unworthy god. But while Khonshu languishes... Why do you give me articles with things I can't say? But while Khonshu languishes in a prison that Moon Knight put him in, the white-cowled hero must still observe his duty protecting those who travel at night. And let it be known, Moon Knight will keep the faith. Excitement!
I like that they describe Moon Knight as a renegade priest of an unworthy god.
It's a really good description.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I need to reread it again.
That's what I found most interesting about the dynamic with Moon Knight was that Khonshu wasn't a good character.
Khonshu kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I like all of the things. I'm excited. Also, Moon Knight deserves a good story run. Yeah. Like, everything I've touched by him gets canceled because he doesn't get enough love.
Yep. And then the last bit from comicbook.com.
It's mine.
Fine. Read it.
From comicbook.com, beginning in July, Image Comics and Skybound Entertainment will launch a 5-issue limited comic book series titled Skybound X. In the series, fans will get to meet Clementine, the heroine from Telltale's The Walking Dead video game series, for the first time on the comics page. The story will also elaborate on the non-canonical alternate ending presented by writer Robert Kirkman and artist Ryan Ottley in The Walking Dead number 75, which we'll hear by a 5-part...
Yeah.
What did you mean?
Which we'll hear by a 5-part tale titled Rick Grimes 2000.
Which we'll hear by a 5-part tale titled Rick Grimes 2000. I think there's something wrong with that.
Yeah, that's a typo from the article. I just copy-pasted.
Okay. The
Wow.
5-issue series will run weekly and feature a murderer's row and feature a murderer's row of Skybound talent, including not just Kirkman and Otley, but also Tilly Walden, Donnie Cates, Joshua Williamson, Chip Zdarsky, James Herron, and Daniel Warren Johnson, who will contribute stories from the best Skybound series, past, present, and future. Holy crap, there are some big names at the end there.
Big name,
Those
boy.
are some big boy names.
Dude, Joshua Williamson is, like, as far as I can tell, like, the new DC guy right now. Like, quietly, but he's the essentially replacement Scott Snyder.
But this is Image.
Yes, I know, I'm just...
Okay.
Yeah. They got all the big boys.
Donnie Cates, Chip Zdarsky, like...
Oh, yeah.
So much talent right there.
Yeah, Colin, I copy-pasted. Are you expecting me to write up full articles for this? So you
Yes,
guys
I
read
expect
them?
way more from you, Spencer.
Also,
I'm
You're gonna
disappointed.
you're gonna have to pay me a lot more than I'm getting paid to do that.
You hear that, Patreon folks?
Upgrade your tiers and find friends, please, so I can
will
do...
speak for the Patreons and say that they want their artwork now.
How about you wait, because lightning doesn't strike twice.
Yeah, it
What?
does. So that is the end of the news bit. There isn't really much there. Do we want to briefly discuss our quote-unquote main topic?
I believe we should. For those of you who are interested, there will be a Patreon special of Colin's and Spencer's watch-through of the 2017 release of Justice League, directed by Joss Whedon. Unfortunately, I could not make it to the viewing, but that will be going up in all of its mostly unedited glory.
Oh, I think entirely hard and uncut glory.
It
I
depends
think so,
on
actually.
what kind of slurs you guys dropped.
We were very well behaved.
I mean, I said a lot, but I'm pretty confident there are no slurs.
For those of you who cannot afford Patreon, we understand. So we would like to spend just a few minutes complaining about this dog shit pile of movie.
You're calling it a movie as being generous? Yeah, so we won't spend too much time on it because I don't think, honestly, it deserves a full segment.
You know what's funny? I enjoyed watching Suicide Squad more than I did this piece of garbage.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Easy.
Like, I know that we, like, broke that movie last time we watched it.
Oh, yeah!
But, like, it's so much better than Justice League.
Yeah, by a good margin. It's at least...
Surprisingly, it was more consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a movie that was, like, written in 2 months.
So I have tried to see this movie twice, and both times I walked out at about the same point. It was sometime when the final battle was starting, and I was just like, I don't care. I don't care who lives and who dies. Please just kill them all and end this movie because it's so painful to look at during the final fight.
So you kept kind of dipping out right about when Aquaman started trying to hit on Wonder Woman? Really awkwardly. Like, oh,
Gorgeous.
She's so hot. Oh, shit, I'm sitting on something, aren't I?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when they're pulling up to the bubble and a little bit of inside the bubble, but the red bubble is so freaking ugly.
I think that's the thing that Colin and I most consistently, aside from like discussion about colors and shading and lighting and shit, like overall, because the movie is so, the set design and stuff was originally designed to be a lot darker and a lot more covered in shadow, there's so much data to look at when it's in essentially broad fake daylight. It's just too much. Like, our eyes were hurting.
It also hurt because everything's so squished because of the ratio.
Yeah, because the crop is garbage.
Yeah.
But also, I think the red bubble makes everything look really, really fake and computer generated. Like, people moving in front of it, it just looks like a green screen job.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it makes it hard to hide what imperfections there are versus, like, even the black and white version of Zack Snyder's Justice League kind of covers up some of the weaker areas even better.
Well, of course it does, because it's black and white.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, is when you go into higher contrast, less color scenarios, usually the issues between, like, green screen or CGI usage is a lot less prominent.
Yep.
Versus this is just crank the gamma up, switch that blue to red, turn it on to daylight mode, and then just blast everybody. It hurts
Joss
so
Whedon
much.
basically made a porn parody without the sex scenes. And he probably, like Spencer said, is that it probably he probably has his own cut where he hired porn stars to do sex scenes, because every time that we cut, we like stop from a scene, it could have been a point where there would be a sex scene in a porno.
It feels so, because like this, everything is cut so short and moves. There's no transitions. There are no scenes of people walking. There's no establishing shots of locations. Like none of the basics, the basic stuff to give your movie any sort of coherent breathing room. And then they just cut everywhere. It's like, I bet Joss Whedon has like his own special, his own 4-hour cut in his basement in black and white, which is just porn. In between every scene, he just adds in some sex scene, because that was the other thing on that note, to just hammer on this ginger head. It genuinely feels like, now knowing some more details about the behind the scenes, it feels like he like unironically had like a hate boner for Gal Gadot because of how creepily Wonder Woman's treated on the whole. Like, it's really, let's make her do something demeaning, and she's gonna get her ass, like, she gets her ass kicked all the time in this movie, compared to, even a lot of it is, quote-unquote, like, Snyder footage. When it's, like, not, it just, she never has wins. She doesn't do anything well. It just, she loses, she gets her butt kicked, she has sexual moans in the middle of a fight multiple times, and then she just looks at him hard, she's like, oh, I'm gonna kick your ass. So it's like, it's like he's over there like, mommy, step on me.
I'm pretty sure ginger head is a racial slur. I don't think we can say that on air.
I have a ginger friend, so it's okay.
Moving on.
I have 2 ginger sisters, and I'm not so sure it's okay.
It's just gross. The whole thing is gross.
I was gonna give you guys a hard time for making it so sexual, but Reddit has decided that today is National Horny Day, so I can let this pass.
That makes sense.
Isn't it Earth Day today or something?
What?
No, that's April 22nd.
Okay.
How do you know that? Who cares?
It's like, when I drive into work, there's a poster that says, April 22nd, Earth Day. I'm like, who cares? Just like, where I work, on this island, who cares about that? None of them care.
Wait. Do you work at Arkham?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that explains so much more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It just...
I'm a psychologist.
I described the movie as feeling like a really dehydrated piss. I think that's just the best analogy I can...
feel the gravel leaving your body.
Yeah, like, it feels like you're
And
passing...
you regret every second of last night where you didn't drink enough water.
Yeah, it's yellow and almost orange, and it just hurts.
You're pretty sure there's a little bit of blood in it.
Your pee-pee hurt too much?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to hear some really good memes and us not sound like we just want to kill ourselves because we're actually enjoying each other's company in a non-sexual manner, then definitely check out the commentary. It's the whole movie, including the post-credit scenes. And go cringe with us.
I did not know until a couple of weeks ago that there were post-credit scenes to this movie. I told you, I haven't finished the freaking movie.
Wow.
I've walked out of the final fight scene twice.
I'm genuinely happy about that at this point, because what we're going to do next week, in this coming week, is we're going to have a watch party, because our topic next week is going to be Zack Snyder's Justice League. So the 3 of us are going to hang out, and you can just never watch this piece of shit. Just don't.
I would like to never watch both of them after this, but okay.
Wow.
Fair.
So, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Episode 5. We have one left after this episode.
Episode 5, best episode.
I was very impressed with this episode, actually.
Fight me.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
I was bored to tears. My dad was falling asleep. It dragged during the second-ish act of the episode. It felt like they were wrapping up so many stories, which is fine, but they took so freaking long to do it. It was boring.
I was entertained quite a bit.
I honestly haven't really cared that much, because we kind of discussed what feels like a missing part of the overall narrative, whereas the character stuff is why I'm watching, and that's mostly what this episode was.
I actually, like I said, acting still poor on certain people, but the guy who was playing John Walker, I really liked his performance in this episode. He
did really well.
He's done very well beforehand, and I do love how different he is, because Steve, whenever he introduced himself, he introduced himself as a humble boy from humble little man from Brooklyn.
Steve.
And hi, Steve Rogers. I am Steve Rogers. And then this guy is, hi, John Walker, Captain America. It's like,
he keeps cramming it in every crevice and every conversation.
Saying, I am Captain America.
Yeah, it's a bit cringe, bro.
Yeah.
So back on my point, I think this just confirms that this could have been a movie, maybe two. I think a lot of this episode could have been simmered down. Like, still wrap up the plot lines and whatever, but it took really, really, really long to do it. And I think if it was a movie, a bunch of this episode could have been cut out, and it would have been a good movie. Like,
I think
not
this
too long, but still wrapped up the story.
I agree. I think this should have been just one movie instead of a series.
I think, yeah, we discussed that, I think, last week, and I agree, but I at this point, I think I'm kind of just blindly enjoying the fact that I really like these characters and I like what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm really easily overlooking the structural problems. But no, I could definitely see that. I think because I like the fact that this episode ends with not a time jump, but like a longer period of time passing, like a month, 2 months, whatever. And it's like, it feels like it could have been like the moment at the end where, like Bucky leaves is like, it felt like that could have been like the end of like I don't know. I see. It feels a little weird to have that as be like the penultimate episode where it's like, and Bucky's gonna leave for like 5 minutes and then has his very nice epic training montage, because epic training montage is required, obviously.
We're just a couple of guys, a couple of dudes being guys.
Yeah, a couple of boys being guys.
So, one plot line that they haven't taken care of, and I'm ready to riot about. Red Wing died in episode 2, and everybody just moved on. And I want a Red Wing replacement, and it hasn't happened yet. I mean, where's my little buddy?
I don't think he's going to be Falcon anymore. He's just going to be Captain America.
That's actually a question I kind of had, because I think we can all kind of agree. I mean, yes, but I don't think it's I never want to fly again type deal. But can we agree? What's in the box? It's a suit. It's 100% a suit.
Of course.
But it's a matter of
whose suit though?
Right.
Or what kind of suit?
Right, and that's what I was thinking was, is he going to just be Captain America but slower? Like, is he going to, because he has the training montage, he's like working on working with the shield and the acrobatic work and stuff. Is he just gonna be like a non-super soldier Captain America?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes, I think he's gonna get his wings back, because that's just him. It's not a Falcon trait. It's a Sam trait.
Right.
It just so happens that he has a gimmick name to be Falcon. But I think he should be Captain America, but with just the wings, because that would also enhance his ability rather than taking the serum.
So part of this point, this is the first episode with a mid-credit scene, which shows John Walker forging his own shield.
I didn't see that!
So back to my question many weeks ago, is he going to become U.S. agent now?
It seems like no. If you look at the color scheme, which is he's sticking with the bright-ass red, white, and blue, I think he's just going full rogue ass. No, I'm Captain America! Yeah, and I think he's going to end up being detained by the end of it. I don't think they're going to kill him. I definitely think they're trying to save a lot more of these villains for future use.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that they went, hey, this is the guy that most of the people that would know who this character is from the comics is like, oh, he's U.S. agent. It's like, they're using some of the backstory and like the idea, but
they've done that a lot with past characters. Like, they'll mix things but not give it the official title and mix it into a different character.
Yeah, right. Someone in next episode, when they inevitably beat the ever living shit out of him, they need to roast the crap out of that shield, because holy shit, his welds are so bad.
Oh yeah.
I don't weld. I know how to weld, but like that's garbage. That's straight up garbage.
Oh, I hate this. I haven't seen it.
Also, just the fact that he's welding the individual rings together, like it looks like it's probably made out of steel.
It looks like junk.
Whenever the spray paint job looks good, but like beyond that, like whenever it gets hit, it has no structural integrity because it's separate pieces. No matter
Right.
how well you weld them together, it's going to break because it doesn't have bend to it. Because
It
it's
looked
not
more like aluminum.
right. Like it's not
I hate
vibranium.
that I can't
So
talk about this with you guys.
it's not vibranium, so it's not going to like absorb the energy and stuff. Which I think they showed really well how the shield works with a non-superpowered person. Like
Yep.
when Sam was doing it, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It felt right. Unlike, I think before I had mentioned when John had used it, before he took the serum, it had felt weird. Just because I wasn't either paying enough attention or whatever, it felt kind of funny. So when Sam was throwing it around, he was making it bounce off the trees and shit, it felt like, oh, a normal human can use it, they just have to know what they're doing. It's not a, Bucky catching it in the Winter Soldier is impressive because of the sheer power that Steve threw it with, not the fact that, it's impossible to catch because it's bouncy.
Colin watched the scene.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, they better roast him like a schoolboy. Be like, bro, this...
What are you even doing?
Yeah.
It's just gonna fall apart so easily.
Yeah, probably.
That'd be funny too. Like he throws it and all the different spheres come apart.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be great. I bet they might do that. They might do that.
It better end up like that.
Yeah, so
Is this our first post-credit scene?
Yes.
From the series?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had fucking what's her face Carter show up for like 30 seconds, and she's still not helpful to the story.
Yeah, I mean, she's fine. She might... I'm assuming she's going to come into play in the finale.
I would hope so, because they keep like, hey, remember her? Okay, forget her.
Yeah. So, I did want to say, officially, on the record, Colin, you were right last week. He did take the serum because I genuinely thought we'd see him open up this one and be like, he's gonna crush it and just shove it in his arm or whatever and then, no, this episode literally opens up 3 seconds later while he's running. I found that funny because it's like a thing, like a Captain America thing of like, Steve runs and he runs fast and then Sam, runs slower and then John is running away. I thought that was funny. I'm sure I'm just reading into it, but I thought that was
I
funny.
like that. I didn't realize that.
Also, people have been saying how symbolic a whole bunch of these shots have been, reminiscent of Captain America, and you had it yet again with the opening fight scene where Walker is fighting Falcon and Bucky,
Dude,
and that's straight out of
Civil
Civil War.
War.
That fight scene kicked ass.
That was awesome.
It looked excellent. It was nice. It was nice. It was grounded and the good, decent choreography. And the blood looks really good. Like, that's a minor thing, but the blood on the shield looks really, really good.
Yeah, it looked like it congealed over time.
Yeah, like, I like right at the end when, Sam picks it up and he's, like, trying to wipe the blood off. That was a really good moment.
I thought he wasn't about to do that. My first thought was, he's going to wipe the blood off. And I was like, I don't think he is. And I was like, I'm so glad that they made him do that, like, as a character, because that is such a, like, in shock thing to do.
It makes sense.
Trying to wipe the blood off, it's just like so in shock. It's like you're not wiping it off, you're smearing it.
Yeah. That's a fair point. I just I like how it was Sam immediately going like, this is like it was him beginning to go, I need to take this legacy back and actually take care of it myself. I thought that was kind of the catalyst for that. Also, they decimated John's arm. That hurt to watch. That wasn't like a hit MCU action go crunch. It was like they just bent his arm all the way back.
No, that was
I cringed and looked away.
They did that, and his scream was such a like little boy got hurt, and it was just so like an awkwardness that just happens. Which is such a real thing that happened. Like if you hurt someone, or like even if you have to stop them from hurting you, it's still such an awkward moment because it's like you just harmed someone so like badly.
Yeah, I like how Bucky and Sam still attempted to reason with him and also treat him with like at least a modicum of respect. Like, we don't do that, we get it, blah blah blah. And even like after they did that, they waited a minute and they're like, stop. And he's like, nope. And then they body slammed the shit out of him. On that note, this is really exemplifying. John's gone. Like he's not.
Well, it's just proof that he took the serum because it enhanced.
He is gone. He lied to the parents of like his best friend, be like, no, that was the guy. I killed him, and he's just he's trying to kill Sam. He's like, you're making me do this. Like that is the most
like why are you making me do this?
Scummy piece of shit move. Just be like, no, that's literally abusive gaslighting type tactics. There we go.
His poor wife.
Yeah, that's rough, dude. But I really like the note that started off on. Yeah, I really liked the moment when Bucky woke up and the kids were playing with the shield. That made me smile, like a solid smile, because instead of being like, no, you can't touch that, that's important, he realizes how important it is that like kids have that symbol, like the imagery used in First Avenger, where like the kids making shields out of like trash cans, like they need that. And Bucky's starting to understand that. And I really liked the conversation at the end of the Bucky and Sam fixing the boat montage. Like when they're having their heart to heart and they're like essentially playing catch with the shield, like a frisbee.
They were. I love that.
They were just boys being boys. Like that conversation where Bucky apologized. He's like, I get where you're coming from. I really liked that as a character moment, whereas Bucky apologized, and then he's like, I understand the additional baggage it takes because it makes sense. And he's like, I wouldn't know that. Like him and Steve are from an entirely different time period, and they've been focusing on like the Notebook and the things that they have to get caught up on and like the pop culture things, and they're not. In a way, their energies have been misplaced in what things they should really be getting caught up on. Mm-hmm. And I liked how that acknowledged that that's a problem for Bucky, and it was to an extent for Steve as well. And those are good character moments. I don't know how you could be bored with that, Jacob.
They fixed the boat for so long, and they freaking wrapped up with his sister for so long, and there was something before.
Okay, that one's fair. I do think the boat montage went in for a while. It felt like that could have been more montage, and it felt like it was about a third of the runtime.
Yeah, and there was something else before it, and I'm trying to freaking figure it out. I don't know. It was literally Act 2 was so long.
That's fair. I did like the, as Colin was saying, I did like the flirting. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He likes swimming like he likes golfing.
I mean, that, yes.
Yes. The girlfriend, freaking bartender from episode 1 just disappeared.
Remember when we thought that she was an agent?
You mean me?
Yeah.
You mean when I thought...
You did.
Yeah, no.
Well, it was like, there was definitely something going on there. Like,
For her.
Deserted it.
I mean, he didn't care.
He left her high and dry.
I mean, imagine
he didn't care.
Imagine working at a bar, and then you see Luke Skywalker f***ing walk in.
That's true.
Imagine that. You'd want to be all over that. You would want to go on a date and be like, yeah, no, I want your time. It's Luke Skywalker. Like, come on. Mm-hmm. I am looking forward to the finale.
Yes.
Mm. So, Colin, have you been up to anything? You watch anything good? You read anything?
Recently, I watched the first 5 episodes of Invincible on Amazon Prime.
Ooh.
So, Invincible is about a young high school boy who is the son of a human mother and a man, Omni-Man to be specific, who is from Voltron, something like that, Voltron, and he is a Viltrumite who goes out into his people. They go out into the galaxy and are protectors of planets and solar systems. They go and help civilizations prosper, come from poverty to a better living, and it is a story about our main character, who is Mark Grayson, trying to figure out his new powers that came in late. He's a late bloomer for a Viltrumite, because he's Viltrumite and human. And he learns how difficult it is to be a hero and the decisions he's going to have to make. And there is quite a plot twist at the end of episode 1, which I won't spoil. But it is very good. I highly recommend.
How many episodes in the first season?
So far, because it's still running,
it's
6 episodes, and I watched the 6th one last night. Really good. There's a lot of changes from the comic, because it's an adaptation, and I bought the first compendium, and it's a thick boy, so hopefully I'll be reading that.
So, in the tier list, you got the manga, the anime, the Netflix adaptation. Where does the Amazon adaptation fall?
You know, it's funny, looking at this, there's a lot of art stuff I didn't like, but it somewhat reminded me of Zack Snyder's way of cinematography, with like the backgrounds not really caring about it because that's not what you're supposed to focus on. But on the tier list, it's probably like it's really close to manga level. Honestly, it's really good. I read a couple of pages just to see. I do like the art style in the comic a lot more because it's simpler, and I don't know. I feel like it's more dynamic shapes. But my favorite character right now is Alan the alien. He's really funny. He's voiced by Seth Rogen.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I've been hearing about this for a while, obviously. It's from Robert Kirkman, who's a really good writer.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when the show was announced, and I was like, "That's cool. That means it'll make it easier to get into it."
Yep.
This stuff, the comics have been recommended by basically everyone with a halfway decent, like 3 brain cells, for so long. But
I didn't want to read it because he looked so bright and colorful. I was like, I thought it was like a kid's comic, but it's so not.
that's what I'm kind of getting at is. It doesn't, by no means does it look bad or even uninteresting, but it is, at least in premise, very similar to 1,000 things I've seen before. So I'm asking because obviously the pop culture consciousness would agree with that opinion of high schooler trying to figure out power. That's a normal thing.
He basically figures it out really quickly.
So I'm asking because I've been hearing as extremely great things about the show so far and the comics forever. What is the thing that like makes it so interesting for everyone? Because that's the only reason I haven't gotten into it is because it's like, is this just
the
I don't know.
Plot twist at the end, and it has to do with his father.
Daddy issues.
Are we the baddies?
He's basically Superman, and there's also like a Justice League, but you see a lot of superheroes that are like similar and supervillains that are similar to other villains. Like there's this guy in like episode 5 that's Machine Head. He's basically Black Mask, but like I think I like him more.
Yeah.
But sorry.
Colin just touched my foot with his
touched your
foot.
foot with my toe.
I'm gonna be pregnant.
Yes, you are.
Abby can suck it.
But the plot twist at the end is what really got me.
Huh.
I mean, I got spoiled because I got spoilers because of watching TikTok, and it was like the last scene was on there. But
Sounds like another reason to not watch TikTok.
shut your whore mouth. You need to watch it.
I'm going to at some point. So is the twist his dad is Mephisto?
Yes.
Okay.
He's got red and white in his suit.
Nailed it.
Mephisto confirmed.
Yep.
Mephisto confirmed.
I'll get on it at some point. Probably when the first season is over, I'll just I'll binge it.
Yeah, go for it. Jacob, what have you been reading or watching?
I read Deadpool Pulp, written in 2010 by Adam Glass and Mike Benson. It was 4 issues long. Deadpool is the CIA's greatest agent because he seemingly has a death wish. There are sleeper agents, kind of like Bucky. They say the code word and they turn to bad guys everywhere. There's a femme fatale. Deadpool is a survivor from, I believe it was World War II torture. Might have been Vietnam, I'm not quite sure.
When we say the word Deadpool,
yes.
Is this Deadpool? Or is this not Deadpool? Because you're saying the word Deadpool. You said the title's Deadpool, but that doesn't. Is it that far back? Is this like
it's pulp? So it's.
Is this it's an out of continuity thing?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Continue. I was confused. I'm dumb.
It's okay. So yeah, I think it's end of World War II, maybe going into Vietnam. It was kind of tough to tell. They didn't really come out right and say it. There are definitely some clues, but I'm dumb and can't figure it out. They kept Deadpool's multiple voices, and it became a key issue for him to escape a scenario that I really, really liked. And it was really funny because they backdated his pop culture references. He said something like, it's as inviting as some actress on a warm, fluffy bed. And I was like, who dat? And like had to Google it, and I was like, oh, okay, that's funny. And like had to go back to the book. It was pretty funny that they kept the continuity to the time. It's decent. not a bad buy. I'd suggest a price of like $10-ish. It's a thin book. There's not much to it, so.
Just a quick read.
Yeah, quick read.
Okay.
I was desperate because I was stupid busy this week.
At least you put a lot more effort into this than I did.
Does he katana though?
Yes. Oh yes, he katanas. That's like all he does is katana.
Oh right, I'm down.
And
That's
it was
interesting.
pretty cool too. The mask is explained and used a lot in the story. It's good. It's pretty good. When you're done yawning, you can talk about what you did this week.
So I've been on a little bit of a Captain America kick lately.
Oh my word.
Shut up, Dad.
I
Those
would
little
have been, but I was
skunk
busy
boy.
with other stuff and haven't gotten to it yet. It's on the wish list.
So I read what might be probably the best Captain America book I've read so far. I have not read the really large, important runs, sadly. But yeah, so it is Marvel Knights, which, as Jacob definitely knows, was an imprint of Marvel Comics, which was semi out of continuity, adult stuff, kind of like the Max stuff that was done a little earlier. So it was Marvel Knights, Captain America: The New Deal. This came out in 2003. It is a 6-issue miniseries written by John Nay Reber and illustrated by John Cassaday. So this is a 9/11 related book. So this is a couple of years after 9/11 happened. So A, very relevant. B, very touchy. So it is basically Captain America, literally in the first bit of the book, being present at Ground Zero, which was extremely touching and done extremely well. Like Nick Fury pops by and he's like, "Hey, we need you to go take out these people with this thing." And Cap's like, "Go yourself. There are people still in the wreckage, and I'm going to save them." So he's like not even in uniform. He threw a mask over his face, and he's just digging people out. It's really touching. There isn't a lot of dialogue. And then the 2 arcs, roughly, that are related is going into... This is a very... something that gets brought up, I think, a lot with Falcon and the Winter Soldier lately has been what happens in the shadows of the big light that America tries to cast. What happens in the shadows where we don't reach or where we don't play nice, let's say. So how do we get to these points where we have things like 9/11, where we have extremely large foreign and domestic terror issues? How do we get to this point with our foreign policy and our endless wars and all this sort of stuff? How does that correlate to how we, like as individuals, should be functioning within the nation? And it's done extremely well. So we have these terrorist units, which are definitely inspired by 9/11. Like it's relevant, but it is not going, we're going to be a one-to-one thing. We're not gonna freaking defeat Bin Laden here. So I think it does that really well. So we have one which is more domestic. So it's not entirely homegrown. It is inspired by some of the heads of the organization are from elsewhere, but they end up pulling in a lot of people domestically. So we have religious fanaticism, we have domestic terror, we have like a hostage situation which takes place in like a small town. So it goes over like how this town and almost everybody in this town are employed by an arms manufacturer in town, which makes the bomb casings that have been killing all these groups of people. And, how are these people as citizens potentially responsible, all that sort of stuff. And it is, I don't want to say open-ended, like there's obviously a fairly clear, hey, maybe don't do this and don't do this other thing, but like for the most part it's not beating anything with a hammer. It is very delicate, and I think the art does a really good job of exemplifying that. It's very tangible, it's very tactile. It is a little washed out, but it doesn't glorify anything. Like, Captain America kills many people in this book, and at the end of the first arc, he freaking does he shoot him? I don't remember. He kills, like, the main terrorist leader that he's at, and he takes his mask off on public television, like, America didn't kill this man, I did. And, he doesn't want his actions to explicitly reflect on what the nation is doing and vice versa, so there is personal accountability for him as a person. So killing this person who's part of a terror organization from other countries isn't essentially starting a war like type deal. He's trying to make sure that America isn't paying the cost for what he's doing, and I think it walks that line really well. The dialogue is excellent. It's fairly minimal. It's quiet, and it is gentle, I suppose. It's really good. I really like this book. It's not loud. It's not bombastic. Even though, big explosions, lots of acrobatics and stuff. It's very nice.
How long was this run?
6 issues.
That's not bad.
It is fairly short. It was a nice read, but even though it was fairly small, like it's a really thin book, page count's fairly low, it makes you want to slow down. It isn't a book that makes you want to rush through it. It's not exciting and exhilarating. The action isn't like propulsive. It makes you feel every little beat, and I really like that.
Nice.
Son, what have you been doing?
Well, sorry to disappoint you fathers, but I don't think I've watched or read anything recently besides...
No goth girl anime titties?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I've been watching any anime. Oh, wait.
It's my idea.
Thank you, Father. I downloaded a free watching app on Xbox, Tubi. I've been watching the Vinland Saga, and I've heard little to nothing about it, but it's basically anime Vikings. Yes.
Huh.
You have my interest. Continue, sir.
But on Tubi, it's only in... It's in Japanese, but there's subtitles. I can't watch it when I'm tired because reading makes me tired, so I haven't watched much of it. I've watched 2 episodes, and I could not tell you the names of the main characters because I've only watched 2 or 3 of them so far. But so far it seems like the main tribe that we're focusing on is wanting to travel to the New World, because Leif Erikson is in this, and he's talking about how he discovered the New World, and he came back with Indian tribe gifts and such.
Yes, Columbus before Columbus did a genocide.
Yes. Yes. It's okay. There's nothing huge or eventful that's happened so far, but maybe if I keep watching it, I'll come back with a better review of it, but so far, not really much.
Nice. Vikings are fun.
Yeah, the Vikings are cool. There's some really... Okay, actually, the art style of anime, really nice. The fight scenes that we've seen so far, which are like in the past, in the storyline, really good. Really fun. Lots of blood.
Are there decapitations?
Yeah!
I will watch it.
Are there Viking titties?
Not yet.
Nice. We appreciate the bunk. Since you asked, I read Batman Incorporated Volume 1.
Ooh.
It came out from November 2010 to December 2011. Volume 1 includes issues 0 through 6. It is written by Grant Morrison and Chris Burnham. I had a joke about this series, about it being basically metal before metal. So metal was like Batman. There's multiple versions of Batman, and they're all bad. They're all bad guy Batmans.
Bad Batman.
Bad Batmans. This is basically the Christian rock version, where there are many Batmans, but they're all good guys. But
we got that Technicolor Batman.
but that example falls apart because there are some pretty disturbing visuals in this story. I checked the back of the book and like all over for a content warning, and there isn't one. But the first issue, number 1, which isn't the first issue, there's a fight scene taking place in a slaughterhouse, and there's blood everywhere and cow parts everywhere, and it's freaking disgusting. And it was so gross that Robin saves a cow.
Yeah, I knew you were going to go there.
Names it Bat Cow and takes it home, and it becomes a running joke through the series. That part was really, really good.
I remember that happening. I knew you were going to go there because I was like, you said slaughterhouse. I'm like, wait, Bat Cow?
Bat Cow.
And I was trying to remember, I think Bat Cow started in Batman Incorporated.
Yes.
Grant Morrison is all sorts of kooky, man.
Yeah.
I love Bat Cow.
So issue 0 sucked because it was trying to introduce to you all the good guy Batmans, and it did it so poorly. It just left me confused. It showed me different versions of Batman and the different
Did you even read?
nationalities. I did, but
Should you? If you're going to tell people.
Not yet. I mean, I'll read volume 2 and see if it helps, but it shows you the different Batmans and mentions names in passing, but it's so much so quickly that you're like, I don't know what I just read. And the art style was completely different. So
Oh, that sucks. I
Yeah.
hate when art styles change in like storylines.
it sucked.
Speaking of Batman Incorporated, I'm most likely the next 3 omnibuses I'm going to be picking up are the Grant Morrison Batman ones because they're only like $50 a piece on Amazon. They're fairly inexpensive. And then the third one is the Batman Incorporated omnibus, and it's just, oh, that's a good run. We got that Final Crisis tie-in with that
Yep.
time travel and
So
Cro-Magnon Batman.
so far, the story's kind of complicated, but basically, Talia al Ghul has a mob of agents infiltrating and controlling Gotham because she's pissed at Batman about what he's done with Damian, training him as Robin. He's endangering Robin, fighting crime and all that, and Talia's like, I wanted him for my own mob of freaking ninjas fighting.
League of Assassins.
How
guys,
dare you
so-
not have my son be a murderer?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, our son.
Our son. So
Comrade.
the incorporated part is kind of just in the background so far. Issue number 1 starts with a board meeting at Wayne Enterprises where Batman says, it's not freaking corporate vigilantism, but yeah, okay, it is. Like, it was such a poor argument, but
I love me a good board meeting in a comic book.
yeah. He's like trying to redefine it, but I don't think he really did. It was just, it's basically corporate vigilantism.
You know, but you know why they're gonna let him do it, right?
Because he's got the money.
You know, I was gonna say because he's Batman, but also
We got it, baby.
Because it comes in black. So yeah, the incorporated part is kind of in the background so far. There were a couple of times where they pop in and help out, but again, you don't get names to characters. They're just yelling at each other, and it's like, who's he talking to? Who's he calling this name? It's basically just an extended Bat family. But we will see how that changes in volume 2, which will be next week.
nice. Does it have any good bat butt? Since you said butt, and I was thinking of bats, is there any good butt? Is there any Nightwing butt?
I don't remember. Nightwing's in it though.
Got
There's gotta be booty.
there's good cake.
The story is, like I said, a little bit complicated, so when I finish reading volume 2, it might require a reread, or maybe I'm just dumb. But I got it at half price, and I'm happy. So,
Nice. Jink's gonna be kissing the lips.
which lips?
So again, Captain America kick. I read Captain America / Black Panther: Flags of Our Fathers, which is a 4-issue miniseries published in 2010, written by Reginald Hudlin and illustrated by Dennis Cohen. It is Steve, our boy Steve Cap boy, meeting. It would be T'Challa's grandfather. There we go. It's T'Chaka's father as Black Panther at the time during World War II. So this is like Captain America's first canonical discovery of Wakanda type deal.
Oh, this is like that old Marvel cartoon movie. Do you remember that one?
Yes, kind of.
It had that weird dude who wouldn't die.
Yeah. Art-wise, I've mentioned Dennis Cohen a couple of times before, where I'm not super on board with his style, particularly in the most recent Question book. I really didn't like it. It felt like incomplete. This is easily the best Dennis Cohen art I've seen. I think it works really well with the story. It's a bit blocky. It's very like pencil sketchy. The line work is really like not even in terms of like super consistent. But, like almost every line is like the same size type deal. So it gives it a little bit of a weird proportion, but it's definitely an artistic choice. It is very gory. So it involves the Howling Commandos and Steve and Black Panther, and they're doing a fight against Nazis. You know that thing that that Captain America did. Well, he's doing it. He's finding Nazis and he's punching them. He's punching them real good. And Black Panther is murdering them. Like, straight up just committing war crimes. It's a very...
We love war crimes.
Yeah.
So, like, when the Nazis are doing Nazi plot of, well, we must get to Wakanda because, they have tech and we can use their tech to make big Nazi weapon.
Big Nazi penis!
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they're gonna go launch a big old Nazi rocket dick into the sky type deal. Nothing terribly exciting there. Red Skull's kind of involved a little bit, obviously in the background.
Nah, who cares about him? He's sunburnt.
Little bit, little warm. He needs some aloe.
Mm-hmm.
Might help him calm down. Maybe a Snickers too. It ends up involving a lot of murder, and it's full out like they're doing an invasion. So the Wakandans and then the group of Americans defend. The Americans end up kind of getting, I don't want to say put to shame, but like they were initially captured by the Wakandans and they're like, we want to help. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, sure, here, help. And then they're like, yeah, clear the corpses from the body. They clear the bodies from the battlefield type deal. We see young T'Chaka and his brother doing some brotherly arguing. Nothing terribly exciting there. It's just good. I liked it. The story was fairly simple. They end up offering like the first black soldier in the Howling Commandos, whereas like even in the Howling Commandos, like one of the best units that works with Captain America and all that stuff, even there he's still kind of getting treated like crap. And then Steve, there's a really nice moment where Steve just sits down next to him and he's like, "Oh, are you done with that fork?" And he just takes the fork from this guy, like because at the time, this is World War II, we're talking pre-segregated. Even the rest of the soldiers are like, they're still sitting a little bit further away from him, and then Steve just sits down like, yeah, man, give me that fork that's been in your mouth, and like, Steve doesn't care, because Steve is just ultimate Giga Chad.
Yes.
I liked it. It wasn't anything like amazing. If the art turns you off, then this book is very. The art is what it is, and it's what it is. Like, if you don't like it, you're gonna hate it. But other than that, fun story, nice read, also short book.
Okay.
Speaking of Giga Chads, we would like to thank our Patreons, Business Casual, Jeff Lawrence, and
Wesley Eaton.
My big brother!
Yeah. We appreciate the support, and our Patreons sticking around and continuing to support us through the months. We appreciate it. Clearly you appreciate us. You will be hearing from us soon about an upcoming episode. So Patreons, stay tuned. And other listeners, stay tuned.
Yeah, go listen to the Justice League commentary, because Colin and I can't bear to talk about the movie probably ever again.
Nope.
Even memeing on it's going to be kind of hard at this point. It's nothing but pain.
You can't touch Mother!
It's dead, let it die.
Essentially. So, go give it some views, and then...
Let it shrivel up and die!
Yeah, basically. So go check that out. We also are going to be having some more excerpts from the show over the next little while that are going to pop up. Just random tangents we went on that weren't really relevant or like normal podcast appropriate. So every once in a while we might drop one of those. We had Colin and I had a fun conversation that Jacob had no part in a few weeks ago that we have clipped out. And we had from the last episode that Jacob and I did without Colin, we had a fun thing which basically just Spencer rambling. Spencer being me, I am Spencer. I am not talking in the third person. Rambling about some weird meta theory I had involving Infinite Frontier. So there's more stuff going up on the Patreon. We also have some cooperative things with Jetpack Comics, our partners, which will be coming out on the Patreon first, and then they will be released to the public. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. And obviously, big shout out to our partners over at Jetpack Comics and Games. You guys are great. Please continue letting us have posters in your shop and being like the coolest dudes and, helping us with comic things because we're all dweebs and, we can't contact Diamond to get the books ourselves. All that sort of fun stuff. And then anyone who lives in the area of, the Seacoast area, just check them out in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. Go give them your money. Let them know that we sent you. Take one of our business cards. Take one of their business cards and...
get one of their sexy red bags.
Those are very nice bags. I've saved them.
I have saved the one that I've gotten. I'm trying to find an appropriate usage for it. and haven't found one yet. But I will!
I mean, it seems like it would be a pretty sturdy enough bag to keep, like...
Your balls.
We could replace Colin's nutsack.
With a jetpack sack. If you are listening to the show and you do not appreciate the platform that you are listening on, I would suggest you find a new one. We are on
everything.
Just Google us. You will
Spotify,
find
YouTube,
it.
iHeartRadio, Pandora,
iTunes,
Google Podcasts, Amazon.
I actually left us off Pandora because that's kind of dumb. If you listen to podcasts on Pandora, you're dumb.
That's fair. You're dumb, and
You're dumb.
If you can think of a place where they have podcasts, we're on there. We're on YouTube. Leave us a comment. Let me think of a question.
If listen to podcasts on Pandora, that's basically the Russian roulette of radio.
That is fair.
Yes.
And Pandora's pretty shit.
Quite.
Drop us a comment on any of the platforms you have. The comments are available. Meaning YouTube. Go give us YouTube views and likes. We like money. Subscribe. Follow.
Please.
All
also,
the things. Interaction. Leave us a. What is a redeeming value of Josstice League? If you can find one, I want to know what it is. Leave me a comment.
I sure hope this is East.
We're getting 0 comments this week. Also, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and any other service that allows reviews. We love all of the internet points.
Yeah. If you have any friends, family, relatives, or anybody else that you think might be interested in our content, definitely, please feel free to send them our way. You know, we are in a very not saturated market filled with a bunch of like lower middle class white boys talking about comic books. We're very not in a very saturated genre at all, so we kind of need help.
Also, this isn't begging for internet points. I have 15,000 karma on Reddit.
How did you get that high?
I made that number up.
Oh. Because that's how much karma I have.
I know. I think I'm at like 2 or 3.
How does karma work?
Next week, we will be doing a normal episode about Zack Snyder's Justice League.
And then we will never hear about it again. Probably.
Big doubt.
Not.
Big doubt, my dude.
But we will hear a lot less about it because we will get all of the jizz next week.
That is true, but we will hear about it again when we hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
No! For the last couple of weeks, you've been copy pasting it.
I know.
And it's clearly dark mode on your phone, but Gmail's stupid and doesn't have dark mode.
I just haven't seen it yet.
How many times have you watched Snyder Cut?
We can't talk about
We
that
can't talk about that.
We can talk about that next week.
Did you not listen to the episode Colin and I recorded?
I did, but I'm going to miss something.
The opening joke was, this is how Spencer's going to find out I watched the Snyder Cut. That plus sign sound sounds like the Switch.
It does.
Yeah.
I gotta get a good bonk sound effect.
I have a bonk sound effect.
He has a bonk.
Restore the Snyderverse.
No!
You can suck a dick.
How do you know?
That's funny.